All right, the presidential debate that everyone's been waiting for is just one day away. Thursday will mark a moment in campaign history and maybe presidential history that so many millions have been waiting with bated breath to see who will prevail. Which Joe Biden will show up will be the actual question. The old confused, staggering, and stammering Joe Biden, or the caffeine-energized State of the Union Joe Biden. We won't know until tomorrow. But putting aside all these antics leading up to the event, there is one sinister plot that very few are discussing, but could have staggering implications. What if this is all one masterful, elaborate setup to trap one man, Donald J. Trump? Is there a possibility that he can be arrested the moment he walks off the stage? What if millions of MAGA fans are subject to seeing their commander-in-chief cuffed for violating one of many gag orders? Don't think it's a real possibility? Then you underestimate this group. And if you're watching everything they've done to date, is this really that far away from the realm of possibility? It's the story we're going to cover for you here in just 1 minute. Before we go any further, huge favor, make sure you're subscribed to Lisa's channel. If you haven't subscribed to mine, she'll put a link above. You know, we'll flip-flop back and forth depending on the content and where we feel the audience would be greatest. But you know, one place we're always at is restrictedrepublic.com. If you believe in what I do here, if you believe in what Lisa does here, we need you to get to restrictedrepublic.com today. I can't tell you how imperative your support is at this very moment. As the election draws closer, everything else we do outside of Restricted Republic gets dialed down, and voices are no longer heard. And that's very unfortunate, but the world we live in. So if you believe in what we're doing and you want to see us both tomorrow, I need you at restrictedrepublic.com today. Discount code Trump47. That's right, $2.99 a month for not 1 year, not 2, but 3. We had shelved it for just a second. Lisa asked me to bring it back up. Trump47 monthly discount code, $2.99 a month, not for 1, not for 2, but for 3 years. We need you there today. We need your support so we can continue to do this very valuable work to keep you informed, just like this story that we're going to continue on with right now. So during a tense hearing on Monday, former President Donald J. Trump's attorney, Todd Blanche, urged federal judge Aileen Cannon, overseeing his classified document case, to not to impose a gag order against him that Jack Smith is desperately trying to get even expanded more. What he can and what he can't talk about. Now think about that going back to the hush money trial. I'm going to give you an update on that one, too. Blanche argued that such an order could hinder Donald J. Trump during his upcoming CNN debate with President Joe Biden on Thursday, but is it possible that could have been the plan all along? If my client were to defend himself against any attacks related to the case, he could end up in a jail cell. Hence, one word wrong, violation of gag order, arrest immediately after he steps off the stage. How big of a possibility is that? Could you memorize everything that you can and can't say with the amount of gag orders this man has against him? And just to add to the air of suspicion, surprisingly and unexpectedly, Judge Juan Merchan in the hush money trial and corresponding gag order actually reduced certain portions of it in his 5-page ruling. This post-trial ruling should start to raise some suspicion. Trump can now tee off on Stormy Daniels and Michael Cohen, according to this decision, which reads, however, circumstances have now changed. What exactly has changed, Juan Merchan? What you put in your write-up, or is there something else afoot here? Because Trump still can't talk about the jurors. They remain protected. But why now? Why right before the debate can he suddenly go after Stormy Daniels and Michael Cohen, not go after the jurors, but then he may also face a whole different set of circumstances as it relates to the documents case of Jack Smith and Judge Eileen Cannon. Blanche's arguments were countered by federal prosecutor David Harbach, representing the Justice Department, and special counsel Jack Smith, who advocated for the gag order. According to Politico, Harbach requested Eileen Cannon to silence Trump regarding the case and stated if President Trump violates a gag order, prosecutors could obtain an arrest warrant and detain him. Blanche warned during the hearing. Thought this was far-fetched, huh? Donald Trump's lawyers are fighting vigilantly to assure this is overturned and it doesn't happen. They know the repercussions. Smith initiated the request for gag order seeking to prevent Trump from discussing recently released documents showing that the DOJ authorized the use of deadly force. The illegal raid, law enforcement officers of the Department of Justice may use deadly force when necessary. This is all documented. I don't want to talk about that. Don't want to talk about many portions of the Trump Mar-a-Lago raid now, do they? And that raid in the August of 2022. Politico reports tensions escalated during the hearing, with Harbach complaining with Cannon's interruptions hindering his arguments. Cannon responded sharply to him, emphasizing the need for decorum in court proceedings. I would expect decorum at all times, she stated. Rebuking Harbach, urging him to reset his approach, he continued, labeling Trump's remarks on the raid authorization as false, inflammatory, and potentially inciting violence. Of course, rhetoric we've heard time and time again. They were 100% accurate. Trump's remarks were. And it's all coming out in the wash now. We're learning that closed caption television servers were turned off during the raid. We're learning, according to Jack Smith, special counsel Jack Smith just admitted the FBI added cover sheets to alleged classified documents found at Mar-a-Lago and took photos from the evidence. Julie Kelly continues to do a breakneck job on exposing all of this. As part of the processing of seized documents, marked classified ERT photograph documents with appropriate cover sheets added by FBI personnel. Black and white would bring receipts, folks. Always do, always have, always will. Long before many other broadcasters were out there saying the same thing. We've done the same thing. Judge Cannon extended the deadline for both parties to submit further documentation on the gag order proposed until Wednesday, today, withholding a decision timeline. The trial has already been indefinitely postponed. The first presidential debate of 2024 season between Trump and Biden is scheduled for Thursday in Atlanta. CNN anchors Jake Tapper and compromised Dana Bash, all involved with hiding information. At least her husband was, signing on that letter that the laptop's not real, but there's no conflict here. Will moderate the forum, set to begin at 9 p.m. Eastern Time with limited commercial breaks. Also, let me add some more fuel to the fire on this question of a potential arrest. Who called for the debate? Was it Trump? Or do you believe it was CNN, who just invited both these gentlemen all on their own accord? Okay. There are, in the last 24 hours, breaking news reports. CNN just slapped a gag order on the Trump campaign days before the CNN debate. You can't talk. Can't talk about what? A gag order on Trump? Now a gag order on his campaign? That they can't complain about who's anchoring it or the format or anything else along that lines? Why would you be doing that? Why would CNN pressure YouTube to call most conservative moderators and said, by the way, we're not going to let you provide live coverage. We don't want your opinions. We don't want your feedback. We don't want any fact checks going on. The cogs of tyranny are in full speed today, aren't they? Jesse Waters breaking that on Fox News. Going on to Voss breaking the not to be outdone article of CNN pressures YouTubers and streamers not to comment on the live debate. The network issued a series of notices aimed at digital creators and warns that they cannot use the live broadcast and the face-to-face between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. It's ours. So much for fair use. Tim Pool came out and called it out. He received a call from YouTube personally to advise him of a potential fair use issue if you were to provide commentary on the very quintessential example of what fair use is. It is a presidential debate. There is no greater example of fair use. So what say you now that we've covered so much of this? Is this one elaborate trap set up to ultimately humiliate and embarrass Donald Trump in a final straw that may break the camel's back? This is the man they hate worse than anything else that lives and breathes on this earth. Why now do you think they would suddenly play a fair game? Looking forward to seeing your answers in the comments below. Probably many of you thought at the beginning of this broadcast, never possible, can't happen. But I hope, by the receipts and evidence I've provided, and the maneuvers that are occurring at breakneck speed just before the debate, you now realize it may not only be a possibility, it may be a probability, a high probability. We must hope it never happens. But nonetheless, I wanted to show you all the pieces are being put in place for it. We love you all. Until next time, Godspeed and God bless. Justice Knight, signing out.